Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 71 of the Man and John Make It podcast. We're going to touch on some quickly UFC talk. As always, the NFL past week, but we have to just get right into what everybody was talking about today on the social media. Still trending on Twitter, I believe, and that is the season finale, episode 8 of the Mandalorian. My God, holy crap! We got Luke effing Skywalker on the show near the end of the episode. Oh, spoilers if you haven't seen it already.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh shit! that was your fault if you clicked on this video for that. But
yeah, and then we got. Oh, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. So, okay, leading up to the Skywalker. If you take Skywalker out of it, how did you like the episode?
It was great. I gotta say, like it's kind of like you're trying to figure out where to actually begin. But I loved with the bar scene, when Boba Fett and like Mando are trying to get the other two Mandalorians to like help out and save Grogu, and then eventually Sasha Banks' character gets into a fight with like Boba Fett. That was cool.
Jetpack assisted DDT.
Yep, jetpack assisted.
Yep, they threw in the WWE moves.
Yeah, and they absolutely foreshadowed what I feel like that season 3 is going to be completely focused on, and it's definitely everything going on with Mando and I'm trying to remember this, but and also
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan.
The dark saber.
Yeah. Because man, I mean, when they reference that at the very start, and I'm wondering to myself, why is she so dead set on this dark saber? Well, we come to find out. Well, it's pretty much because whoever has that pretty much has a claim, the like Mandalore ruler. So it's like, wow.
Yeah, that was established, obviously, in Clone Wars. But yeah, Clone Wars, that lore of that. And I knew that coming in, but I forgot near the end when Mando captures Gideon, Moff Gideon, and brings him into the bridge, and tries to hand the darksaber off to Bo-Katan, and Moff Gideon's laughing because the story of the saber is stronger than the saber itself,
right?
And that the only person who gets it has to get it through defeating their opponent. And that's why she was hesitant, and I totally forgot that little tidbit. I was like, that's good. That's a good little
which is going to
thing there.
Which is definitely, this is going to be setting up some sort of a like civil war between like her and like Mando, because to me, along with him having that saber now, Matt, he also has all of like that, like, you know, all of that, like Beskar armor on top of that. And man, you know how powerful his armor is when Moff Gideon can't even lay a scratch on his armor. Like, that's how powerful that shit is.
That was good, and I'm gonna assume that Mandalore wasn't destroyed,
No,
was it?
it wasn't destroyed, but it was.
Planet.
But the
planet.
planet, but the planet was essentially decimated.
Because I was thinking somehow
from what
that
I
he's
gathered.
going to go to that planet or whatever.
Yeah.
Crap! I forgot so much crap. I can't remember how the planet is now at this point in time. So it's probably somebody watching screaming their head off. But I would assume they would, if they go back or something like that, since he has the saber. Because I don't think they just go right off the rip and be like, okay, let's fight. Something happens.
Because if you recall what their conversation part of their deal was, he now has to help out Bo Katan in trying to become the ruler now of like Mandalore. So that was part of them being apart and saving Grogu there. So I'm not fully expecting them to like just be having a full on confrontation, but
I
it's
think it
definitely
would
coming.
lead. Yeah.
It's definitely coming. Like this reminds me a lot of of Game of Thrones, and we're basically I'm like Mando is pretty much in the like John in the Jon Snow situation where he has more of a claim in being king rather than Bo-Katan, who is now playing a Targaryen queen who doesn't have a strong of a claim right now. So that's definitely is
You
going.
lost me at that metaphor.
Yeah, well, yeah,
But a lot of people do.
yeah.
I kind of was when they had the Dark Troopers, and he opened the air vent, not air vent, the whatever,
Well,
and I'm like,
okay.
oh, what the hell is he going to defeat him like that?
Well,
And
it
then
was-
they came
I was like,
back.
well,
I went,
that was easy.
yes. I was like, that was easy. It was like, oh, no, what is this, Snoke? And I went, and then they came back at the end there. I went, oh yeah, they're not human. They can just jetpack back. I was like, oh,
well,
yes.
as they said, they took care of the one main flaw, being human. So they were all droids. So it like made sense. It's like, oh, yep, they do not need any oxygen or anything. They can just fly back.
I was like, they came back. I was like, yes.
And
the
man,
Stormtroopers.
and man,
You know-
oh yeah,
Go-
yeah, like, go ahead, man.
This episode for me, I don't know, like, not a lot of them do, but this episode, like, I sat here watching, I felt like this would, at least this part, would be a perfect part of like one of the mainline movies. Like, this felt like a movie you can just watch and sit back for 2 hours.
Just
Like, holy crap.
I mean, like we can't say enough to how great that like Captain Dave, as I'm calling him now, because this man has
Daddy Dave.
he has saved this whole genre, because to me it's just
And I'm gonna give credit to Favreau too, because he
absolutely.
I think he wrote. Did he write this? I think he wrote this last one.
Yep.
So it's both of them, and I'll give credit. I'll give credit to all the directors too.
But
but those two are like
you can just
top
tell
tier
them
right
that
now.
just it's amazing when they have the right people in charge. They know what they are doing. They know what Star Wars should be. And
They're
this is
diehard. Well, not saying that.
Ryan Johnson.
God. Ray Johnson and the other one. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're not
cares?
Star Wars. They're not diehard Star Wars fans, but again, we've said this last week and previous weeks. Filoni was like there with Lucas.
Yeah.
Pretty much a Padawan, if you will, to use a Star Wars term. So
it's just like,
and plus you get that Disney money to make this show.
And Matt, they did better in like 1 5 or 10 minute scene with freaking Luke Skywalker than what freaking like Ryan Johnson did with that character. Like he wasn't a whiny bitch. He was cool. He was a badass. Just like it just that is what Luke Skywalker should be, because man, when he came on, I was like, no, what? Like I could not believe that was who they brought back as, because I was fully expecting what you were saying, that it was probably was going to be someone from the Clone Wars, but
Clone Wars Rebels, yeah.
No,
because
we're bringing on the freaking big gun here. My God,
and still relatively young. The CGI,
it wasn't exactly the actual best there, but
it was still good. Like it took me a second to realize, because in the morning I was on Twitter and I was looking on the trending for something else, I forget what I was looking for, and I saw Sebastian Stan's name, so I was like, F, he's playing it. Now I know what's happening. Crap, I knew Luke was coming. I would assume if I saw that name, was like, crap. So it took the surprise away. So I didn't like click on Sebastian Stan to see anything. I was like, okay, it's Luke, I'll be damned. But then the moment came and he revealed his face, and I'm like, that's not him.
Man, like
Luke, the lightsaber scene, he's just destroying. Oh my God!
Oh, and did like you see that? Did you see that text that I sent you?
Yeah, Eric sent me the same thing.
I was like, holy shit!
I thought that was the first thing when I watched it. It was the first thing I saw. Was like it was Vader and Rogue One. Like father, like. They did. That's what they did it off
absolutely. Of. And man, I was just like, Luke was just like, and at the very end, he like force chokes that freaking last.
You could just tell how powerful he is.
I mean, I don't think that there's really any argument. He is the most powerful. I think he is the most powerful Jedi. I mean, like always, it's going to be him versus Anakin because those
Vader,
are
but Vader, yeah.
But it just, man, I mean, they really portray just how much of a freaking master he is at this stage. Like, and I just love the whole interaction with him, Grogu, and like Mando, and like you could just see how attached that
he became.
He became,
and he took his helmet off for that too, and then the reaching out and touching his face. I was feels this whole like those last like 5-10 minutes. I was feeling some type of way,
and it's something as simple as a Grogu putting his hand on the freaking screen where he's communicating with like Luke through the Force. I'm like, just
and then they threw an R2D2 too. They came there. I was like,
R2D2.
I was like, oh yes,
man, like it just
so. It was so
incredible,
good,
incredible.
And there were some people upset that I saw a few that were upset it was Luke and not anybody else. I'm like, screw off.
I'm like who cares? Like
it's not real. In the grand, like I know you could be upset how something, but like maybe you wanted somebody else. That's fine, but like it's. Why would you not bring
back the It just I'm sorry if like you're mad, but you're just being
Fickle.
extremely nitpicky there, extremely
Fickle.
nitpicky. Yeah, it's just.
Fickle.
But now I'm
But
mad.
like I
Um, yeah.
I
Go ahead.
this can only end badly for Grugo because the, people are assuming, and I kind of agree, that this is leading. Well, I don't know if we're going to see it, but maybe we will. But Grugo training with um, Luke
Mm-hmm.
at stuff to tie into the sequel trilogy of him training, and then Kylo Ren comes and like kills everybody. So maybe they they bring in Kylo Ren at the very end at one point.
It could,
It could lead to
but also too, I would be very surprised if they just kill him off like that because
well, I mean, at the far end,
yeah,
I
mean,
totally expect like older baby Yoda Grugo to appear some point, depending how long the series ends.
yeah.
It's some form. They could do whatever the hell they want and stuff. So maybe, but everybody is throwing in memes like happy to see Grugo with Luke. Realizes what happens later down when everybody died. So they can tie it into the sequel movies. If we see more of Luke and and Grugo and whatnot,
I think we will because I definitely feel like at some point
I don't think you don't lose it. Then
well because I definitely feel like that there's definitely is going to be a crossover because especially with the Sokotan show that's coming in
Sakatana,
2022. With that coming, yeah, there's definitely is going to be interaction there. I would be very surprised.
Then if they depending what story they tell, if they tie it into or eventually tie it into the sequel, with like Luke being like just like completely like turned off from training, then I'm more. If you give me a good backstory to add on what they said in the sequels, I know some people don't like it. I'm more fine with it because you told me more of a story, and then it's up to us to make the judgment of whether it is good or not, and then makes everything better. Right. But if I obviously trust Filoni and Favreau to like if they could tie it in elegantly, even like they're doing obviously possible the Snoke thing we saw earlier, then I think it somewhat makes it better. But I mean, it doesn't fix it obviously because stuff has happened if you don't like it. But I think it makes it fleshes out the story, and hopefully it's good because I just like Moff Gideon continue, and even the Empire guys they continue to say restore order to the galaxy.
Yeah.
Like that, I like that tie-in to the sequels. Like, just the little things there to like build bridge the gap between 6 and 7 and what the events that happened in between.
And now as we look to season 3, definitely yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay,
we'll get to it.
So as we saw with the end credit scene there.
Okay, yeah, you were getting to it.
Yeah, Boba Fett pretty much he's now king of the crime syndicate that
Java, yeah.
Yeah,
Jabba and then his assistant, who I think was eating too much food in between, or the actor.
Yeah, and man, just killed pretty much everyone there, or the people who matter. So now he's
released it. They released the dancing girl is released and free.
Yeah, the dancing girls are finally released. So now.
That last shot of him sitting on that throne,
and
back there was like, oh.
So now you kind of see what his whole objective was to gain power, and
to,
now he
to get it back to like some avenge from that thing, which
yeah,
that's a
and
good
now
time.
I'm more interested to see what's gonna happen because man, we all know him and Mando are going to eventually cross paths once again. I definitely feel like we're gonna be seeing more of a like heel run here by Boba Fett.
Well,
I'm kind of expecting that, you know.
oh, yeah, one would think, but I think the Mando thing, it was a deal, it was a means to an end.
Yeah,
Because they were in a debt, they had an agreement, and Boba Fett agreed to it. Everything is even now,
yeah.
so he went back and did his thing. So the whole like rumored Boba Fett series, freaking true. The book of Boba Fett, so
Which is coming in December of 2021.
so I'm interested to see just like an isolated story of Boba Fett, obviously obviously separated from Mando. But you're telling me we're gonna get in October or whatever. We're gonna get Mandalorian. When's this the sock?
20 2022.
Okay, so man, they kept that. They kept. It's coming next year. They kept that as freaking secret. One would think, because there's no way they didn't start production on that.
No.
But you're telling me we get Mandalorian season 3 leading right into the Boba Fett, so it's just nonstop.
It's just
fall,
like
winter of 2021 is just gonna be just fun for Star Wars fans, and then you got the Marvel stuff, spring, summer, leading you
which
through.
by the way, I believe it's in like what 3 weeks or so that we're getting
WandaVision.
Like WandaVision. So I mean, like we're now our patience is finally paying off here. So now we're getting some really good shows to.
They got her. They it was an appetizer with Mandalorian for the initial launch. You wanted more. They got some other stuff on there. You got all your Star Wars, all your Marvel stuff, all this stuff, and now they're ramping up. Things are getting finished, and then sweet baby Jesus, it's gonna be fun. And now like Star Wars has this little like mini MCU going on here.
Right.
People comparing the two. You got Ahsoka Tano, you got Boba Fett, you got Mando, and it would have been really interesting if a hypothetical situation. I don't know if this would have been good if sequels never came out, right? And these came out before, leading to like an Avenger style type of big episode 7.
Would not surprise me if they actually end up doing that. By the way,
Yeah, but it would been interesting if again the sequels didn't come out and then all this built to like one Investors Day, like we're gonna have a new trilogy coming out tying in all this stuff. And the thing would be if you're already buying on a streaming service, would you still want to put it on in the theater, like the big culmination in the theaters? Would that still work? If
no,
not,
I mean,
I
if
would
you
go
are
pay money.
Disney, I mean, if you're Disney right now, you're putting everything on that app now because man.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about this hypothetical situation.
Right, but man, I tell you, the subscriber accounts that this company is going to have in the next few years are just going, it's just going to be ridiculous. Like because I think from our last podcast they had over 86 million.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And now, now with everything coming in now, as far as the MCU and more Star Wars content, it's just only going to keep on growing, guys. But needless to say, I'm very excited to
And
see all of these shows
and
coming out.
and I think Marvel announced a new show um, that wasn't on the investors, and I gotta find this out.
Yeah, yeah, okay, but
It was there we go. Uh, Marvel Studios Legends is coming to Disney Plus in January. It is.
oh yeah, I
Yeah,
am
they
heard.
talk
I heard
about
about
yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah.
they talk about they go in depth through all the characters and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's to say? It's Marvel Studios Legends celebrates and codifies what has come before, revisit the epic heroes, villains, and moments from across the MCU in preparation for the highly anticipated stories still to come. Each dynamic segment feeds directly into the upcoming series premiering on Disney Plus, setting the stage for future events. Marvel Studio Legends weaves together the many threads that constitute the unparalleled Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the first ones are first two episodes are going to be Wanda Maximoff and Vision, obviously to tie into
Yeah.
WandaVision. This comes out on the 8th.
Okay, so basically a like
Week before the first two
before
episodes,
that
those,
starts.
and then so it's a little wet your beak or whatever the phrase is on that. So that's pretty cool. I mean, just it's content. They
It's
keep
con-
rolling this out. Damn Disney, taking
Yep.
over the world.
Absolutely, but we shall all see how that goes. But now we're going to get into some NFL talk here. We didn't really talk about it last week since we obviously had
The
the
whole
Disney,
Disney investor meeting.
had the Disney investor calls. But man, I'm not gonna lie, football has kind of gotten me really sad because of just everything going on with this with the with the Steelers right now, and just pretty much the last 2 weeks, man. It hasn't been good.
It's been fun.
It's and that Buffalo game just really. I mean, like the first quarter, it was it wasn't so bad, but pretty much everything after that was a goddamn catastrophe. Just
Yeah.
this offense is just getting worse by the week. We still cannot run the ball to save our lives. We have a high school offensive coordinator. We can't block anybody. We can't catch anything. And now we're putting so much pressure on our defense, who honestly for the first two quarters played a pretty strong game, and then in the third quarter, we just kept on sending blitz after blitz, and Stephon Diggs, which is absolutely just murdering us on every possession, and it just
Near the end there, yeah.
it's just frustration with this team right now, and I'm not sure if it's fixable right now, and that's the problem because there are so many things that I'm looking at man, that are glaring warning signs, and like be like one thing, it's like, you know what, a play here and a play there, and it can be changed, but man, if you can't catch the ball, you can't block, if you can't run the ball, hard to win games. Really hard to win games.
I think if the offense gets going, obviously that will help the defense, because it was probably all the blitzes, like, well, our offense can't do anything, so we need to stop theirs and help get last points. So I think it starts and stops with the offense. If you fix the offense, however that gets done,
if they could do that, I mean,
then I think it's better. It doesn't. Another thing that doesn't help is the injuries on the defense.
Right.
it's just at some point would slowly catch up. I mean, the next man up. I mean, those for the most part have played good, but even it just seems every game is just a linebacker or a safety going down, and
Injuries, because now
coming at the wrong time.
We're really feeling the effects without a like Bud, a Devin Bush, and also we did not have a like Joe Hayden, who we were really missing him against against
think
Diggs
he
there.
should be back this week.
He practiced fully 2 days, so he should be back. But it's looking that Kevin Dotson isn't going to be able to play, which means we're gonna have a third string guard, essentially, like right guard, or like a left guard. Sorry. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, and just it just, man, every single week, Randy Fiegner he drives me insane. It's just, I just cannot believe, just every single week this man just gives us more headaches, and like, honestly, he is the biggest obstacle with this offense, because everything is just so condensed. It's so basic. It's like, exactly what is coming every single time, and now every team is keen on our short passing game. Like, it's just like it, and we're seeing ever since that Baltimore game at home on like Wednesday night, Matt. It's been a struggle just to even get past the 50-yard line now.
Yeah, because it just seems like they come out, and it's usually a 3 and out. I don't know.
Yep.
It just, everybody says it's blasé, same thing. There's no, it's a shell of its former self from the beginning of the year, when they would do
and
more.
And definitely this offseason, offensive line. Like, if it wasn't any more clear that this offensive line is old, they are slow now, and they just aren't very good. Because
like, that, to order the run, you could have a good offensive line to do the blocking, and nothing. They, once in the blue moon, they have a good run, and like, you can't blame solely on Connor or any of the running backs if
they have nowhere to freaking run. It's like, when you're getting hit in the backfield every single play, I don't care how good of a freaking back that you are, it's hard to get anything going when there's consistent penetration every other play there. And against these extremely good defensive lines, they're getting dominated. And man, let's just call it for what it is. They are a soft offensive line. It's just, like, I hate to say that, but it's fact now. Like, their play has shown that. And it pains me to say that for guys such as Pouncey and like Dave, but they are clearly past their primes. And man, it would not surprise me at all, Matt, if we have four new offensive linemen for next season. Like, that's how old and how bad things are right now. And that's going to be something very interesting. But as we saw on like Monday Night Football, Matt, Baltimore Ravens pulled off a huge
I didn't watch this game.
Yep, I didn't either.
I'm mad. What was I doing?
I was too angry still at that point. So, but so now with Cleveland
I watched
losing,
and I fell asleep.
Yeah, So with Cleveland losing, that means that the Steelers just need to either beat to either beat Cincinnati or for Cleveland to have them lose against the Giants on Sunday. So
Yeah,
um
and then that Monday game, I mean, means nothing, not nothing, but
no,
just for seeding.
essentially. But now if we don't because now I think it's pretty unlikely that we are hitting home field now. We would absolutely need to win out now, and Kansas
You
City
need
has
the
to lose
Saints.
at yeah they have to lose. If not, then we're probably fighting for either a two or a three seed
Yes,
at
which
that
yeah,
point there. Which
um,
I have a bad feeling that we're gonna be facing Baltimore in the first round, because it's really looking like that's probably is what is gonna
because
happen.
of course, like everything is working their way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Vegas losing last night was pretty
yeah,
big.
Vegas just
So
just freaking crap in the bed late
yeah,
this season. Um,
because you figure with Cleveland, Miami, and Indianapolis, and Tennessee are those teams who are kind of in there now, because obviously Tennessee and Indy are like fighting out for the AFC South there, but I want to say that Indianapolis is probably on track to probably winning the AFC South there right now. So it's going to be
Indy, who they playing? Playing the Texans, Jaguars, Steelers.
yeah. So they
Tennessee is
yeah.
playing the Lions, the Packers, the Texans.
Mhm.
Miami is playing the Patriots, the Raiders, and the Bills to close out the season.
Yeah, that's not the easiest route
And
there,
then
especially
Baltimore, Jaguars,
when
Giants,
when
Bengals.
when like they have a cakewalk at the end here. So I think they're going to be good to be getting in. But if Cleveland would have beaten them, I think they would have been done, because
It would have been a struggle.
right, because now you're really hoping that some other teams fall off, and now I feel like they're in more of a driver's seat, even though I still think it's still an uphill battle for them, just because
It's better than it was.
yeah. But they're I mean, like, to me it's between those between those four teams, and clearly with the Raiders now, I think they're probably out, or they are going to be. That was
It's
a
yeah, that's
a
pretty
bad
much
loss against the Chargers last night. So
because they play. Well, yeah, they're already done. They're down to two Dolphins and the Broncos.
yeah,
The
and
Dolphins game, that's tough. That's going to be tough. If they lose that, they're on life support right now.
essentially, so
Yeah, so if somehow we win out, I'm assuming it's going to be Baltimore in the first round,
yeah,
and
it's I think it's either going to be Baltimore or maybe Tennessee. I think those are probably looking at our odds right now on, and like maybe like Miami. But but to me,
if either the third, then it's going to
Cleveland,
be Indy
yeah,
or
because
Tennessee.
I'm expecting that Cleveland is going to be playing or is going to be playing either
Tennessee
Indianapolis
or Indy.
or Indy, just because
Fifth seed because I don't.
I'm feeling pretty good about their spot right now, and I think the only other tough game that they have on their schedule is actually us. I'm pretty sure. So
They have
New York
Giants, Jets, Steelers.
Yeah. So basically, they're in a pretty good spot, and I expect them to win at least 2 of their last 3 here, and they're what? So they're currently at 4 at
They'll be 11-4.
you know
They can if Steelers beat them. I think the worst they get.
How would you feel? How would you feel being 12 and like 4 and like you are a like wild card team like that? That sucks.
That's stupid.
Yeah, like
that's like the Pirates winning 98 games and being in the wild card and losing.
That just sucks. But
that's how you go. You got the other team playing just have a better record at 12-4.
And then as we look on the NFC side, like to me, I think that is like more like locked in, except for the NFC East, of course. Which, I mean, like we think right now that the football team is kind of separating themselves from
the
right now,
Giants, but it's still like.
It's still razor. Yeah, it's basically one game. So we're going to find out. And I feel like
basically the rest of the seeds maybe besides
field,
New Orleans.
Home field, I would assume with the Packers, I feel like they're pretty locked in, and especially with that horrible loss from the Saints last week. Was it against the Vikings? Last week?
I don't remember.
I can't recall, but
I didn't watch much football last week.
Yeah,
to be honest.
But they had a really bad loss.
No, Eagles.
That's right. Oh my god, yeah, that was a really
by 3
bad
points.
Loss. So I think they really are set in there. 2 seed would probably be like New Orleans. 3 seed I'm like Seattle, and obviously 4 seed whoever wins the NFC East there. And as wild card teams, you figure Tampa right now. Trying to think.
Arizona.
Yeah, they're kind of on the fringe there too. Arizona,
Minnesota, and
LA
Chicago,
Rams,
6 and
LA
7.
Rams are in that discussion as well.
Well, they're leading they're leading the division right now.
Who?
Based on
Who?
The Rams over Seattle.
Really? Oh,
yes.
I did not know that.
Head-to-head win percentage,
Huh.
tiebreaker. So right now it's Green Bay, New Orleans, LA Rams, the team of football, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Arizona. Yeah, so Arizona. You would think it would be Seattle, but no, not Arizona. LA has the tiebreaker.
Yeah,
there. Did they play each other again?
I feel like with that
they do play each other again.
Yeah.
But in 2 weeks.
I feel like on the NFC side, Matt, we're just basically fine, with them seeding more than anything there. It's not as questionable as the AFC is as far as who is going to be getting into the playoffs.
But compared to what we thought like 2 weeks ago, AFC is more locked on 8 teams because the Raiders are kind of dropping out. New England 6 and 7, they got an uphill battle. They're pretty much out. With NFC, you got Arizona 7 seed 7-6, and you have 2 other teams, Minnesota and Chicago at 6 and 7, 1 game there. So if Arizona, depending what they do, Minnesota, you never know. I think it might be a little bit, maybe one more team in contention NFC, but I think it's pretty much both are pretty much narrowed down to 1 or 2 teams that are peeking in. Like Arizona plays the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Rams. It's Minnesota. Play the Bears. That's that for them is a big game between them because probably whoever wins that pretty much knocks, I would assume, knocks the other person out. And then the Vikings play the Saints and the Lions.
Oh yeah, like a Minnesota too is also kind of on the fringe there.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Bears play, like I said, the Vikings and the Jaguars, and then the Packers at the end of their season. So it's those last couple of teams are going to be just fighting. Obviously, that even though they have just around 500, they have a shot. But
for sure. But yeah, we will all see how that all goes here. So yeah, we're just going to finish off the podcast for this week with just some small MMA talk. So as like you guys know, last weekend we had UFC 256, which headlined Davidson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno for the 125 flyweight title, which in my opinion, Matt, was possible fight of the freaking year. That's
what people were saying on social media. I didn't pay for it.
I felt so bad for you because, man,
of course, the one
this was like 5 rounds of just these guys just being the absolute shit out of each other, and if it were not for round 3 and Jason Herzog taking away a point there from Figueiredo, this I think he probably wins his fight. So it's just
I won the parlay, but if it's a draw, it doesn't count that. So it cost me a little bit more money, but I won the parlay, and then I lost that money on NFL, but that's neither here nor there.
So that was insane, and seeing Tony Ferguson just getting absolutely ragdolled by Charles Oliveira was really disheartening to see, to say the absolute least here. And I had a 4-fight parlay going, which I was halfway there, and I'm feeling pretty damn good here. I'm like, you know what, Tony, he's gonna win, and it's gonna be all good. And he was never in this fight at all. Like, that was a flat out ass kicking that he got, and man, this, I think we're starting to see probably the sense of Tony Ferguson. Now he is now 36 now. Had that insane fight with like Justin Gaethje back in June or like May, whenever that was. So now you gotta kind of wonder, you know, what much does he have left here. So I'm really interested to see where he exactly goes from here. And to me, the other major the other story coming out of this card was Kevin Holland, who knocked Jacare Souza out by the seat of his freaking pants. Literally just punched up and staggered Jacare, and then he eventually finished him, which by the way, this was his 5th fight of 2020, which is insane. So now he really puts himself in a really good position going into 2021. He called out, I believe he called out Derek Brunson. So that's a fight possibly, and I think he's like 2 or 3 fights away for possibly getting an easy fight here. So that's definitely a name to keep an eye on. And as we look to the final UFC event of 2020, Matt, which is a stacked card here. I cannot wait for these fights tomorrow, which is being headlined by Stephen Thompson versus Jeff Neal. It was originally supposed to be between like Shamaev and Edwards, but unfortunately Leon tested positive for COVID, so obviously that fight isn't happening. So I'm really excited for that fight. I'm Jose Aldo versus Cheeto versus Cheeto Vera. That's an excellent co-main. Chaos Williams versus Michael Lima. That's going to be a very exciting fight. Marlon Moraes versus Rob Font. That's a very exciting fight. Just really, yeah. I'm like most fights on this card are really exciting. I cannot wait.
There's a lot of fight. If you look at the odds here, a lot of fights odd wise, are very close.
Yeah, like this. I mean, and like if like last week's card wasn't one of the best cards of 2020, I would definitely say this has the potential to be card of the freaking year, which is saying something. But man, I am pumped for this. So I cannot wait for that card. And the last piece of news that I wanted to say as well, if you guys haven't heard, Yoel Romero was officially signed with like Bellator, joining Anthony Rumble Johnson, who also signed over there. So with all of UFC making cuts now, we're starting to see some of these bigger names going elsewhere, and who's benefiting from that is Scott Coker and Bellator, who now really buffed up their 205 division there. So I'm really excited to see what they do there. Like, do they just throw in Yoel versus Rumble? Like, obviously Corey Anderson is over there with Ryan Bader, and like Machida there as well. So very interested to see everything that's going on over there in like Bellator, and we should find out hopefully soon what the eventual plans are for that. So yeah, that was just some small MMA talk there, Matt. I believe that's pretty much all that we had planned for this week.
Yeah,
correct.
Fairly one of the shorter episodes compared to last week, but that's fine. Not much I don't think has happened, well, at least we missed. But anywho, again, thanks everybody for watching. This was episode 71. Like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Thanks for everybody who watched the live stream of wrestling yesterday for this week, as we talked about Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, like always.
Especially Raw. And yes, I am playing. Or this is me.
Oh, you broke the illusion. You broke the illusion.
I broke the illusion. Like we really dived into that whole freaking shit show. So yeah, thank you to all who tuned in there. So yeah,
and I probably made it a simple, straight to the point. Yes. How to fix it. Simple point. As I tease what I'm about to say later on tonight, as I already said it when you're watching this, magic of TV.
There was like many rants. There was many rants. So thank you.
Since we already broke the fourth wall here, that I interested to listen
fourth wall
him
breaking
in about 3 hours.
Yep.
But anywho, and then we preview TLC coming tomorrow or on Sunday, and whenever you want to, whatever tense you want to use now, since John had the, no kidding. So yeah, thanks for everybody watching live or later on, all that. So with that, there's John. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.